Welcome back, everyone, as 100 Thieves take the win on EG's pick of Haven 13-9. Now we set our sights to the Heineken 0.0 icebox for map 2. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here alongside Wyatt and Mimi, and let's just jump right into this here because our big concern for EG on that second half, Mimi, was what can they put together on the attack? And thankfully, they were able to get a few rounds there.
They got a few rounds, but it really was just that. Overall, I think I walk away with this seeing a lot of positives for 100 Thieves.
Agreed.
A lot of the win conditions we wanted to see come on line were hitting. The mid rounds were good. Cryo was good. They had cool set plays with the Gecko, and they were also adaptable. 100 Thieves looked solid in this one, and the retakes in particular were fantastic. And that's in part a positive to them. I think they played well with this Sova-Gecko combination. You can use both that initiator utility together, as well as just kind of diving into sight with Cryo and with Stellar, actually, in a lot of these rounds. But on the side of EG, so many of their post plans felt kind of discombobulated. In that round we just watched, 2 players were forward, 2 were tucking, trying to play off site, and this one they were like, okay, we're going to try and play on site together. But then 100 Thieves has such good utility for those retakes that you're just getting ran over. And again, it's EG really struggling on these attacking sides.
Yeah, I was worried initially that maybe 100 Thieves wouldn't have a lot in the chamber when it came to the Gecko on defense. Normally, teams seem to be focusing on attack, putting so much emphasis on the wingman. But I like how they weren't doing anything unbelievable with him, but they were using him in effective ways just to burst back into the site with like the wingman dizzy combos. And even the one round, you got to see them use the dizzy while they were in that 2v1, or rather the wingman to actually defuse when they were in the 2v1, which is like one of the best things about Gecko, period, is that you turn situations like that where it should be a 2v1 into a 1v1. Or rather, backwards. I said that wrong. But you know what I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
Which is literally busted. That you can, that 1v1 becomes a 2v1. It is broken. So.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see as well to have them kind of have that innovation and have these ideas, but I didn't feel like they ever overcooked it. When we were watching EG, their Gecko stunned me. It was super cool on Pearl, but then the game plan kind of fell apart in the second half. The fundamentals are still really important, even if you're playing kind of a cool new composition. I think 100 Thieves understood that and didn't lean too much into the craziness, while also having some of those set plays that, you love to see. They're cool.
Yeah, and what has been great about this 100 Thieves lineup and why we've been praising them so much is, we kind of said like the drag and drop, right? Slot a player in, make it work. But part of that also comes from a guy who we haven't honestly talked about all that much lately, and that's Derek. Because, Derek used to be that guy, and now he's kind of in this team really just playing his role, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. I think Derek has kind of flown under the radar for the latter half of 2022 because there was so much talk about Cryo and into this year. There's always just so much more emphasis on the duelist players. I mean,
my bad.
Yeah,
I really like
it's all Mimi's
That's your fault.
Sorry.
But there's always so much more emphasis on the duelists. And for a while there, if you guys remember in 2022, Derek was the clutch guy. He was winning 1v1 after 1v1 after 1v1, closing out so many rounds. And in this match, he did a pretty solid job. He didn't really need to do anything remarkable. There's that 2v1 I was talking about with the wingman. But he showed up, and he did his role, and he played well. And he's, for me, honestly, the guy that I'm looking towards as this run from them continues in the Americas League. Because I think he was such an essential component to 100 Thieves' quick success with this new roster last year. And for me, this year, he's just been quiet. And all the stats reflect that. His stats have been worse on all accounts. And I know he is way better than that. He is genuinely one of the best in NA. He just needs to get back into that form.
Yeah. And players like him and like Stellar maintaining their consistency is really important when slotting a guy like Cryo into this roster. Because you mentioned that it could have been plug and play. That's what people thought, but it really wasn't at the end of the day. However, I think now we're starting to see that hitting. Cryo in this map was incredible. This was the Cryo jet that we have been wanting to see. I just realized I'm talking about duelists again.
I was going to say, Mimi, you're talking about duelists. Look at you.
Sorry. I'm the problem, but also Cryo, very good. His op on that second half, besides the retakes for 100 Thieves, I think the value of Cryo's operator was one of the biggest reasons that they made that half so dominant.
Yeah, and I think that if Cryo can keep going at this pace and continue to contribute the way that he has been, this is the 100 Thieves that I think we're all very excited about because we know the firepower that he brings.
Yeah, absolutely. He was doing a good job opping on the defensive side, which was nice to see as well, getting some of those crucial opening picks.
Yeah.
He was doing a good, solid job all around in that game, which is honestly what you expect from a player of his caliber against EG, so that's good to see. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring into the next map, if he can continue that or turn up the heat. But so far, all good signs, honestly, genuinely. Coming into this with so many questions about 100 Thieves, so far, all good signs.
Yeah. Look, right now, if you're a 100 Thieves fan, lots to be excited about, but don't get ahead of yourself quite yet now. Before we get into map 2, let's actually do some more shoulder stalking, if you will, with some aim lab shoot around. We're actually watching Busio. That just sounded so bad as I said it out loud.
That was kind of weird. I don't know why
What did you say?
Shoulder stalking.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and turn that into a soundbite. Talk about the thing.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the thing. Busio, he's clicking the orbs, and he's doing a
look at him click those bubbles like a champion.
He is doing that.
But I do want to point out about, EG. Mimi, I'm always going to be an EG fan, but I'm really, really hoping that, they start to find that confidence again.
I have an honest question for you, GG.
Sure.
Are you delusional_Potter_fan on VLR?
I can neither confirm nor deny such accusations. And the fact that you would even bring that accusation on a live broadcast of all things, Mimi, how could you?
I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him. The trial starts soon. Noted VLR user. It's him. But Busio, talk about him, Wyatt.
Talk about him, Wyatt.
Thank you for the setup, Mimi.
Yep.
Busio, there he is. Honestly, Busio, I think kind of his everything that he brings in totality, maybe a little underrated, and honestly, I think a pretty important core component of EG and how this roster came together, because he's one of the rare players that brings a lot of firepower while also being an IGL, which is pretty nice. And I think he picked up IGLing later into his career, so he's kind of developed himself into a pretty crucial player that could fit into any team, but of course in this EG team specifically.
Yeah. But that also means a lot of the pressure is on him, because he was starting it playing the chamber, playing the jet back in the day, and he was really good at those roles. But now kind of moving away from that, being the more traditional sentinel and being the IGL of this squad, I think a lot of the questions fall on him, where EG have these maps where they struggle to adapt, and also when they have these attack sides where they struggle to find a plan.
Yeah.
When you see them running out of those ideas, the first person you're going to blame is the IGL. So that means I think a lot of kind of that pressure to perform stands with this guy.
For sure, and as it should, because he is the person that they've put the trust in on the team, right? And look, we can go on and on about evil geniuses, all 500 members of the roster, but I'm joking. But the good news is
600.
We actually just got breaking news. That's right. Demon is coming in and is subbed for BCJ. So Demon's coming in hot, baby. Match ready.
Mimi, do you have anything on this?
Okay.
Help me out. Hold on.
What? Where?
I have a conspiracy theory.
Help me out. Who is Demon, and why should people be excited about him?
Honestly, he's a guy who has not played many officials, has not been noted on many officials. He's probably never played on a team that you have heard of. What he has been good at is being a Demon. I'm sorry. A very good player.
I've made my way into your brain, Mimi.
He's a very good player in ranked. He's been playing in the Pro City 10-mans and been playing very well there.
Yeah.
Normally, he's a chamber or a duelist player. Just classic young guy, 20 years old, really strong individual. But I want to tell my conspiracy theory.
Go for your conspiracy theory.
Because I think the reason that they're subbing him in instead of BCJ is that they want to play the double controller harbor composition on this map. Last time we saw EG try that on Pearl, it was, for some crazy reason, it was Jojimo, the guy who was playing the harbor. So I think they're going to put Jojimo on the harbor. I think they're going to put either probably Busio on the Viper, and then they're going to bring this guy in to play the jet for this map. And that's my thoughts on why they're doing it.
I think I have a tinfoil hat somewhere here. Just to look for.
This is out of control.
Okay, but genuine question, though. Question. Do you think that this could end up being like another Jake and Rooney situation? Because no one knew about those guys coming in. But I have to say, I've been very impressed with their output for C9. Do you think we could end up with something similar here?
I mean, I'm going to be open-minded here, because there's a lot of really, really talented mechanical players in the tier 2, 3 scene that just, people aren't watching or not aware of. Certainly maybe one of them. I mean, from looking at the stats, He's got like 3,000 rounds played of chamber,
And
which
that's
is a lot of
concerning.
chamber, by the way.
I mean, dude, we literally brought him up
Plays
here.
chamber right now. I don't know what to think.
There's
GB.
no way.
Brought him up on the wall. Chamber hasn't been played in ages, but yet here he is. And Mimi, if he plays chamber, what do I do physically? Do I exit the room? Do I
Yes.
go to another plane of existence
exit
with
the
my
room.
soul? I'm not sure what to expect here, Mimi.
What if they did play Jet?
There's no way. He's going to play Jet. Okay, he also had 500 rounds of Jet. He's going to play Jet.
Surely, right?
Okay, well, we'll see. I don't want any spoilers, though. I'm not
I
trying
didn't
to
look at that screen.
Look, I'm not trying to look at the screen, but our
I think it
camera
just got
team
spoiled.
is some of the best in the world.
I just got spoiled.
Yeah, no.
Audience, you didn't see that.
I just got spoiled.
You didn't
No
see
one
that.
saw it. But
No one knows what the agent.
yeah, I like how we got the further view now. Now we're really trying
what's
to
he
pan
gonna
out.
play?
That's
The
a
new
Joe Hood
viewers.
special right there. All right, well, look, guys. Jokes aside, right? This is going to be quite challenging. And let's move on to where we're heading to next for map 2, because we're going to everyone's favorite map. It's the Heineken 0.0 Icebox,
Yes.
and we are going to see Demon take to the stage for the first time here. This causes a lot of concern, though, Wyatt, because he's a new player. He's coming in. Do they have ideas centered around him? Surely they do.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, yes.
It's just weird that they
surely,
sub him
right?
out for BCJ.
Surely aware. I mean,
It's
yeah,
gotta be
something on
Rolf.
BCJ is crit. I mean, it's crazy.
What if he's the next guy up? What if
mean,
it's,
it could
what
be.
if it's Ye on an alt account? Who knows?
No.
Well, I literally just saw him. I don't think that's. I mean, that's.
We saw him physically.
I mean,
What if
there
he had
he
that
is.
same level of skill? There's always diamonds in the rough. We've seen it with Jake and Rudy. We've seen it with EG before. A lot of people didn't know a lot about the players on this team last year before they started finding their way into
Yeah.
the Tier 1 scene with this EG roster. So maybe that's just the next step. I'm kind of here for it. And as we already got spoiled, he's playing the Jet. Is the conspiracy theory true? Do we finish this out with the double controller composition? I think that's probably going to be the case. And also for 100 Thieves, is it the Omen comp again?
Yeah, I'm interested. The main thing for me is, will Cryo be playing Omen? The other, I mean, just thinking about this though, imagine being Demon 1. This dude hasn't even played like a qualifier game for a whatever. He's playing
Wyatt's about to lose his mind over
like
here.
$200 cups. His
hasn't even-
earnings are $40 probably. I don't. And then he's just on the stage in front of a crowd. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if
There
he
it is.
turns up here, that would be amazing. And honestly, I don't think it's off the table.
No, not at all. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it, man.
This is crazy to me that they're consistently going to be doing this Jojimo Harbor stuff. I've been like a Jojimo stock salesman for so long about this guy being incredible on the Rays and the Jet and being one of the best individual dive players in North America. But they choose to move away from that. He's no longer the youngest talent on this team. He's no longer the new guy. He's the person who's having to flex and therefore making room for Demon 1.
Yeah, and there it is. Cryo is going to play the Omen. They're going back to what had worked for them. And I mean, it had worked for them. So, I mean, really, why
not?
change it?
Why
Only, as we said, it only didn't work when they played against Fnatic.
Which
And
is literally the best team in the world on the box. No reason you should even play.
yeah, the mistake was not the Omen. The mistake was
picking it.
playing us. Yeah, that was actually don't do that. Teams keep doing that, GB.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
No one can explain
well,
why
I talked
they-
to Angel. He basically said one day we'll get him. So in
He's
any
not in
case,
Americas.
guys,
No.
that's it for us. It's time to see how this one plays out. All eyes are going to be on the new player for EG Demon. It's time to get into map 2. Let's send it back over to Vansili and Rivington.
I don't know what was going on there on the desk. Seems like they're cooking, but EG also cooking here on Icebox.
All
the
right.
Heineken 0.0
Let's go.
lineup that has Demon 1's debut on the stage here, playing as a Jet. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Hasn't played an official game in at least 90 days. His last game was in December of 2022. And here he is, sitting right here, getting ready to just pop faces as a Jet.
It's a late present. Here we go, delivering in. I can't wait to see this. How often do we even see subs in Valorant? Vansili.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, back at League, you would have maybe a jungler or something, or a different position that can oversee and then come in with a little downloaded information. I don't know if it works like that here. It's on the player alone. There is a team there, but Demon 1, eyes on him.
Yeah, and even cracked duelist players are having their debut on a professional
the
team.
duelist,
Usually
too.
just plays like a smoke or something like that, but this time a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Demon. Can he perform? As now Icebox has started with 100 Thieves on the attack. Lots of pressure down towards the tube, and it's Jogimo. Cascade after cascade, pushing them back. And it works out for a bit.
They get EG pulled over to that left side of the map. They will decide to re-hit, but they're going to allow, or they're going to have focus in kitchen now. So maybe they've cut the numbers in sight. Wall goes up. This is going to be a full take onto the B, and EG have not shown themselves yet, so it leaves 100 Thieves a little bit wondering as they start to plan.
Big delay, so we have to plant in a different position. Busio still gets the pick onto Asna. Better for 100 Thieves. They at least get the plant down, allowing for the post plant to be played, but a high tide also came out from Jogimo, allowing EG to slowly creep up back into the site. Nobody watching flank, nobody needed. All of the defenders are currently moving into the B site from the back of the site, and it's gonna be Demon 1 getting the first kill for the VCTs on a professional team, and it's also our VG getting a flawless into the round.
100 Thieves had no utility to use there at the end. It was no Viper Bites to be used. That spike plant was pretty easily defendable by the side of EG, and they came in flying. Nicely done. It just took the teamwork, a little bit of overlaid util here. We see this first kill not letting Asuna out, which is actually pretty big. Everybody was trying to outside cover that. And this orb, I think, big play there, just to deny a lot of that focus and allow EG to work in and out of the orb, giving themselves an extra bit or 3 or 4 angles to work off of. Take out 100 Thieves. All towards mid, seeing if they might be able to find a push on one poor soul, but nobody enters that area. Just the cascade moving forward. Sonar forward. They still take it layer by layer.
Right there.
Jogamo gives up his step. I think we're gonna have a real... Oh, detected.
Exactly, it pinged out towards screens anyways to have Ethan ready to move up. Smoke coming out from Cryo.
Yep.
Who then gets pushed. Okay, but bodies are still falling for EG.
They were
Wall
doing
up for
this.
split to B.
They've been mid the whole time. They're looking for a fight. It's like, when will you give it to us? Come on. And they actually pulled one out there, taking down 2 overall. So really great little back and forth push and pull on mid for 100 Thieves to start. I think we see EG play much safer for the remainder of this one.
So the wall to indicate some sort of fast push towards orange was still being watched here by Calm. But he didn't spawn anybody, so spread out all across the map are EG. Jump spawning, trying to find information. Left. Finally, it's engaged towards the B side. A recon to initiate for 100 Thieves. A plant, a delay, a spray. The plant still comes in.
Just ate enough of that molly. Gets out alive.
Fight towards kitchen, that's about to happen.
Ooh,
and that's Bang pushing forward, catching Demon off the rotation. Meanwhile, though, Calm and Ethan having strong weapons, but the Marshal seems to be stronger. Ethan having a clutch now. 3 left to take down. A flank about to come in from B main.
Ethan
at least gets 1. And on his 2 versus 1 reloads away, Snakebite underground knows that it's coming from spawn. Tapping onto the spike, trying to find Asuna. As Asana's just running that clock down, forcing the footsteps, forcing the audio cues to come out. And that's gonna be it. Ethan manages to get that, but the spike still goes off. And 100 Thieves win on a Thrifty.
The Thrifty round. The mid play was so good, and I thought EG had it covered. Even the way that Ethan used his guiding light. When they threw it around mid, it did not go deep. It only initiated that somebody was on boiler. You saw the direct hit with Trailblazer after. But when that guiding light did detect mid, that's when the other peak came out, right? That's when Stellar got the frag on whoever peeked underneath the tube. There was just way too much antiness off of the util that was supposed to be for certain situations there. I think EG kind of gave themselves a false sense of security with those detects and moving forward when it only needed to be a simple play. Plagues them for a moment, a Thrifty there. We've seen so many this weekend as teams just seem to draw these rounds out. Uh-oh.
Yeah, nothing he's gonna be able to do here.
Calm down on that one as he gets pushed out. And again, 100 Thieves start off with a quick kill on the round, giving themselves the advantage.
With the turret being picked off, all of 100 Thieves are rotating back from the B site onto A just to support the spike carrier who's currently there, dinked by Ethan. Continues to push forward, gets a second dink, but no kills. That's so unlucky for him.
Player standing.
It's up to Demon. He's gonna have to learn real quick. It's not a red game. Got caught earlier on in a rotation, and this time only with the Sheriff on a 5 versus 1. Low HP.
Spike dropped.
Stellar ult.
Just wants to land a couple of shots here to build that confidence up. Potentially was looking for a head-to-head against Bang one more time.
All these plays, too, it seems like Demon has been the anchor on the site, right? As EG moves in, we see the 4 core of the squad we've seen mostly on the team playing through to the site. And only caught off once here, so Demon makes that rotation a little later. Obviously here, the round's just kind of winding down. But made sure to stay safer. Didn't want to go down this time in the rotation. Oh, that last shot right over the head of Derek. Demon does go down, as should. Get that money for the next round coming in. And this buy, I feel like it needs to be important for EG here. They're working against quite a lot. I think 100 Thieves may even try to focus out Demon if they find there's a certain way, not even Demon's playstyle, but a certain way EG are playing with Demon, right? That they can know there'll be 4, not a full 5, or there won't be a jet dashing in to gain with that chaos when you retake a site. It really starts to allow 100 Thieves options. Wall towards A for the first time here. Let's see what they work on Belt and going into the site. A push. They do have a bit of cover here. Ethan and Demon are going to take pipes.
Definitely an important buy. EG bought all the way down to 0. 100 Thieves' economy is actually quite high.
Yeah, that's a big point.
Flash Trailblazer, keeping 100 Thieves back towards the A tower, towards the A nest. Starters looking for a position for the lockdown, potentially.
There's the play.
A flash for Demon to peek out and dashes away as it gets the opener there onto Cryo. So that forces out a much earlier lockdown than anticipated for 100 Thieves. Not committed into it yet. Look at him, just staying inside of it, dashing away, gets detained, but at least his teammates are there. Now even a cove to protect him. 100 Thieves are now trying to move into the site. It's a 4 versus 2.
Bang.
Demon looking to answer back onto a 3rd into this round. As now Bang. Oh, looking for the transfer. And he's going to get it.
Yeah.
The Red Bull clutch a 4K into the round. The cracked aimers are both stepping up to the plate for both teams.
Bang, bang, takes that round down, makes it look easy, sorting out each individual frag, and even after Demon had a hell of a round to start off here, we wondered, would he push himself to the max, but nah. Even if you do, Bang is gonna be there to anchor. Woo!
Oh, Stellar's feeling it. Bang, I mean, look at that. The shot going up, back down, getting the pick into the transfer. Oh my God, this is looking good. Once again, Demon with the first blood. Whew.
See where they go from this. Obviously, 100 Thieves feeling very good there. You see EG switching it up, trying to play around each other, trying to play around Demon a little bit more now. They're giving him a buddy system to be moving with. Now towards mid, Blade Storm out, and that is a cause for pause on the side of 100 Thieves, but it will not stop them from moving forward eventually. Flank watch now by Stellar as Cryo is down for this, so no extra smokes, just the wall to get in here.
That's the first turret. Well, the only turret, rather, from Boostio that gets spotted, so that throws an immediate molly towards the ground and Nanoswarm to prevent any type of early pushes. Punish Fury coming out on the attack, does get the connection and the kill onto Calm.
Retake wall, or retake utility, wall's already at A. Down for the side of EG now. So the 4v4 levels it out, wall goes up, quick plant goes down.
Flash here, once again for Demon to come out. Daggers in, headshot onto Derek, and Bang once again still there. 2 versus 2 though. Weaponry much stronger for the attack. A flank here, a alert from Stellar, transfer onto Ethan.
Is this a bet?
Wow. Didn't talk much about Stellar. Well, we did a bit last game, but coming out 5 kills, first kill, 0 first deaths. IGL position as well. Honestly, you don't see that very often, right? You get a few here and there. It just takes a lot of mental power to be able to IGL, get all the info, recall, call and response to the team, and still frag. But you see Stellar doing it, picking up that round, and it will call for the pause. And now on Evil Genius's side, we saw how much powder was just devastated. All of us were kind of breath taken away by that last play. Sometimes that happens and you see how the next few rounds go, but it does look like 100 Thieves are just reading Evil Geniuses, hitting the right plays, figuring out how EG wants to defend here.
Still a very good timeout to start things off very early into this game. Yes, maybe 100 Thieves didn't show too much of their hand, But Evil Geniuses have been doing a pretty good job getting first blood on the last 2 rounds, but then just the lead in terms of player advantage just slips
they
away.
Need that conversion.
But that's also because of heroic plays that you just see from Bang, just always turning around back into the favor of 100 Thieves. So this timeout for me is just to try to cool down 100 Thieves.
We're going to have another lesson Maurice situation. 4K after 4K after 3K.
Plan's still there for EG though, right?
It is. We have to see how it comes to fruition for them. 2-3 split on this. They will get rid of mid pressure for now. Allow this to kind of be held by the turret up in kitchen as they watch the extremities of the map. And it sounds smart. 100 Thieves hasn't really been trying to go mid. They've been focusing that firepower to the outside lanes, looking for the first kill, and then maybe getting the second one on the way to the site. Still no mid. So that gets left up. And the defense is right in their face this time. EG prepared with demons off.
We got wall banged for a bit.
Yeah.
But that's the early sound and a warning shot. 100 Thieves knowing now that the operator is out on the A side. Invested for EG into the defender round. Yet still not afraid. Still creeping up towards the A orb. Waiting for correct timing as Demon relocated into a different spot. To get an angle now towards the top of the pipes. Top of 410 as well.
The smoke for where Demon's first op position might be. Doesn't matter.
That's 2 instantly popped down. Reckoning to come out on the defense, courtesy of Giacomo. As Demon just got spotted trying to run through the smoke. As Bang gets hit by that, Demon finally gets the revenge. Back into the up, waited by Stellar on the top of the rafters. A wall plant also coming in for Asuna. No res available after that. Still after this plant, Giacomo at 2 HP. Action has quieted down for a bit. EG looking to move back towards this site. Walled again, space for EG behind a toxic screen. As a tap then comes in onto the spike. Trying to get the shots, trying to hear where the last 2 players are at. As unfortunately, Giacomo falls. Traded out by Calm. Asta looking onto the rope. Onto the rope! But gets the kill a little bit too late.
Oh. Not many times we see the rope do Asuna dirty there. This time it does not help him. The shot's just wide to the right. The defuse comes through for EG. And it goes down to the wire there. We saw a lot of rounds for EG on the last map like that as well. They need a bit more space and cushion in these rounds with the members of EG staying alive here. But still, 3 HP. Woo-hoo-hoo. A quick defuse there at the end. Does not let off. Pros don't fake. Holds it down. 2 ults ready for each side. It looks like they'll give a little push and pull at A as you see Asuna throwing utility, but the focus is B.
Nice shot and step from Cryo. They wanted to go aggressive for 100 Thieves. Already on the top of green. Demon to fall first. Lockdown available to push all of the B side away.
You should run.
And put down instantly. Ethan looking for an opportunity at least to get some picks before he falls back, but this is going to be impossible for him to get away. So try to get 1, try to get 2 before, and he's going to get none. All of EG falling after this. Even might be an early call for the last 2 players to save.
Really neat way to play it out too. This big wall in middle, and with the lockdown going down, they were able to basically stall out EG trying to find their way through. Boostio had to stay outside the lockdown, but still, they had to work through wall. There were so many layers to clear just for get from A to B instead of getting to site and then being able to use your utility. So nice little pacing throughout this round. I like the Viper wall mid, Omen smokes into B, and that little start by Asuna at A to keep some focus there with the slow. 100 Thieves has a lot that they put on EG's plate in the beginning of these rounds. The EG will, you know, I have a slow here. I'm not, well, the wall's in mid. Everybody almost has to stay to cover. And this frag right away puts that 5v4 conversion in the favor of 100 Thieves once again.
Nice Allen drone, nice support coming out from Derek for that first blood coming out from Cryocells. If not, that would have been a different story. And the story writes into an EG save.
Yep.
Small change that you saw too. 100 Thieves, when they wanted to work on that lockdown on that previous round, they still have a protocol to have somebody watch that flank. And it was Asuna at that point who becomes Elite Lurk so that Stellar could support the rest of the team behind that lockdown. EG has to recognize this now into the later rounds of the half. Round number 8 underway with a full eco round for EG. Quite surprising, actually, on that previous one that the last 2 players didn't save their weapons.
Right there.
Yeah. You tend to wonder. It's just sticking as a team, though. Playing together, going for the fight, and seeing if they can actually wear away at 100 Thieves a bit, maybe. Same start to this round. Much slower, though. 100 Thieves, you saw Asuna throw the slow out, which would go for Alt Orb. Giving EG the same look. They recover it, though. So, pretty forward play. Calm one off of Ultimate. Boostio has one. So, if they do find some frags here, Vansili, it could be a likely alt. But that's not the case.
Yeah, no,
5 on B and 4 towards A with a quick lurk here. We'll see if Bang can hit anything on the come around from EG.
And he's waiting.
Oh,
And the charge comes
all of
in.
them.
All of them, indeed. Snakebite on the ground, splitting out the aggressive push coming out from EG. A lot of vulnerability from the Snakebites on the ground.
Oh my gosh. A quick flick there.
Tom looking to pick up that weapon. Wall banged by Asuna.
Yeah. Another one for 100 Thieves. Not the ecos for EG really aren't even denting. I don't know if they even took a classic shot there. I know Bang went down a bit, but still took down 3 himself, so pays for any of the damage that he takes with those. And the rest of the team fist bumps as they end it. 9 on round 9 coming in. We see those few rounds for Evil Geniuses were defused. So it's not like it's the frags. They're not stopping 100 Thieves dead in their track. Here they are trying to set that up, though. Demon again forward. It's been good to see him taking initiative in some of these situations. You need the new player to step out, step into the light.
Aldrone is going to spot
Did you see
teammate, so
him?
he's going to have to fall back. Meanwhile, Jogimo was down to almost nothing, thankfully. Has a heal coming out from Ethan. And now we're going to walk into the thick of it. Viper's Pit out on a defense. Calm! Was being pinched by 2 angles on the garage, and that pinch is going to come down. Cryocel's already made it across towards yellow, while all of that creep up towards B main ensued. We're going to get the wall. A wall plant attempt, at least to get the pit down first.
One enemy remaining.
And the lockdown for the retake. Asuna is just looking for the fights. Not gonna happen. It's gonna be impossible.
Yeah.
Falling away here from the range. Buzu gets the kill. EG answers right back.
Deja vu. We're gonna come back for a 6-6. EG is about to get that comeback here as they start to figure out this composition, how it works. A nice hold onto the site. EG's been giving up a little too much ground, I think, in a situation where you would probably see Bang just being able to get that ult off because they were waiting. They were still checking mid, and EG was waiting for the entire team. But there again, taking a bit of an initiative. Bang goes down during the ultimate, and it just starts to fall apart for 100 Thieves. So EG activating a little bit more. This mid take that they're doing, or sorry, A take towards pipes that they're doing here with Ethan and Demon each round, I think has been giving them a good amount of information to then consider what the rest of the map may need. Here, they might even get a push on long B to start off too.
Deploying drone. Enemy marked.
100 Thieves slowly working the mid again, though. Spike's down, so this is going to be give EG a different look. See what they can figure out who's playing where, and maybe avoid the Killjoy utility at all.
If anything, is definitely 100 Thieves showing a different look. That lurk up towards that kitchen. Trailblazer out to put Dogimo into a forward position under, but a 2 as it gets denied there by Cryo. So all the rotates you're trying to do now, you have double lurks going across. Bang has a great position inside kitchen, and all of EG once again giving up the sights on the B site.
That's 2 rounds now. We've seen Calm kind of take a shot from the side when he's just getting taken back and forth.
Yeah.
We almost saw it on
Spike
Haven too
planted.
when he was watching towards short. It seems like the tiptoes of 100 Thieves are just inside, not inside the head of Calm, I should say. One more for Demon. Maybe get this Blade Storm to connect with a few heads. And they are searching right now. You see on the other side of the map, Cryo is on a hunt, but he will be at the site. Derek's gonna drop that 7-3. 100 Thieves quickly stave off what would have been that comeback from last round. It's those any situation plays, right? That's the 1v1. That's played off of audio. It's kind of the flick of the shot. And then once 100 Thieves have that upper hand, they're just able to garrison the right angles, and EG has no entry unless they're all together using that utility. It does not seem like they have time to set it up. Operator.
Exactly. Down towards mid this time. So no more of the pipes trying to push up, but at least for EG, it's the same utility on the other end. What a combo of utility, but Ethan still dodges all of the Hunter's Fury. Finally has to get picked off. 100 Thieves puts the early res up as they're charging towards the site. Calm this time, playing towards A, saved by a high tide after his toxic screen comes down, allowing for EG to rotate towards the back, evening up on a 4 versus 4. No ults available for either of these teams. It's going to come down to the trade possibilities.
Oh my gosh.
Ropes favoring on 200 Thieves as Bang somehow is playing this controller like a duelist. A hard retake to do. An off in the hands of Demon 1. But it's still 100 Thieves just too strong on the forward spots of the A site.
It's really cool to see plays like that when you play the aggressive res, knowing that somebody's going to go down. You get the battle res in the middle of the fight as well, while the Hunter's Fury is coming in for distraction. So they're throwing that up the gut of the defensive squad. And then you have Bang doing things like this because him and Asuna spend time on the jungle gym together. It's absolutely ridiculous what these guys do inside that A side of Icebox. And they're doing it again here, stringing a few more rounds together, and it looks like it's going to be a tech pause to come out on this one. A little breather, not too much chatting from the players, though, but a mental reset can come in.
Definitely a mental reset that maybe could be needed at this point. I think if we're going to try to look at these, the amount of first bloods that EG are at least able to get on the defense already gets turned over by 100 Thieves on how they react on what's coming up next. Once you get the early trade-off on the player advantage that comes out from EG, the floodgates are open.
Yeah.
And EG is just a little bit too far on these retakes. Maybe that's the game plan going to 100 Thieves. When you're looking at the earlier rounds, you know, a lot of pressure is put on the shoulders of Demon 1 trying to anchor alone.
Right.
And then with a little support from Ethan here and there, but 100 Thieves, as soon as they find out, okay, well, we dashed one away. Let's kill Ethan. Now there's nobody left into the site. We could win a 3 versus 1 there.
Yeah. I feel like this utility that they bring to the composition, having that Sage, being able to just get the plants down. There's many, I feel like, I would say faults or errors, but if they make a mistake on the take, they have so much more. You have the double smokes to come in. You then, oh, okay, well, we can still wall. There's just so many possibilities, even if EG has an answer for one of them. I think that's also one of the biggest ones, as we're saying.
Actually, yeah, you bring up a great point. And it's formulated differently in a sense where Cryocells is one of those smokers that dies first, but there's always the other one, the wall that comes in after with the support that you have from Bang. And speaking of Bang, that guy,
oh my word,
he's already 18-6.
Doubling the next person's scores. You see, Stellars look like he's been fragging too, but no, Bang. Absolutely locked and loaded this game. Focused off towards the right side. Last round of the first half was for that timeout, or tech pause, I should say. So it could be a good time, like we said, to reset that mental. No operators onto this round, and it is a low buy. So it's trying to gain the advantage of position. Evil geniuses move up, but instantly denied. See, answer hit there. They get it. You expect the drone, but still nobody even peeks before that. So initial strategy set up on defense is foiled. What's next? What's the audible? The mid-round call from the defense has to be just as good as the one from the offense, right, Vans? Hasn't been that case since. 100 Thieves here now into B again.
Derek, those 2 shock darts were crucial. First one to stop the push on the main, the second one to stop the nano swarm from blooming, allowing this wall plant to happen. Seeker's already coming out on the defense as we have the low buy in the last round of the half for EG. Stingers and Guardians. Forward moving is gonna be Demon. But it's long range with the Guardian, stopped by a toxic screen, Poison Orb to allow EG to flood open towards yellow. So you get a couple of trades, it's at halfway. A push coming in, the rotation so late for Calm.
3v1.
He was looking for that lurk, and unfortunately nobody's there lurk this time around for EG. And it's Stellar coming in for the kill from yellow. And 100 Thieves now put 9 onto the board.
Sides.
What a strong first half. EG's definitely going to have their work cut out for them. I have to see what the desk has to say about this. How you feeling about Demon and the Geniuses?
All right, so 9-3, and as it stands right now for Evil Geniuses, they're going to have to hope for some magic because right now it has been quite problematic for them. I feel like 100 Thieves, Mimi, they're really starting to just find themselves even more so in game one, which is awesome.
Yeah, 100 Thieves is looking really good right now. And on the other side for EG, it feels like the coordination is really starting to struggle, Wyatt.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it doesn't even really feel like it has much or anything to do with like the swap with bringing Demon 1 in. It's just the game plan as a whole. You can see in a round like this where 100 Thieves are scaling up into this B site. It was early on in this round that Demon 1 had presence in B main, went down with a weird TP play. Ethan just taking this fight alone, and then Calm taking a fight alone near Snowman. Just not really setting up any crossfires, not swinging off each other. There's just no timings.
There's no information.
It's just we're taking fights, and on the opposing side, 100 Thieves are just playing fundamentally really well. So
yeah, and I think a lot of it is just like kind of like almost panic for EG. They lose an initial player in the initial idea, and then they kind of go for some of these individual plays. And 100 Thieves is just playing really well to punish that. But the big guy to talk about in this one is Demon 1, who's actually subbing out the big guy in this game. He, I think, was actually playing fairly solid. In a lot of these rounds, they were setting him up to go for these early fights, to take these duels. And that's kind of how you generally are playing with this Harbor Viper composition. You can set your jet up for an early fight, then you're playing retake. But so often, this team is still kind of getting caught in transition, where they go for one of these kind of opening setups, and then either it doesn't work out and Demon dies, or he doesn't quite get away after getting one. And then their retakes end up into these ways where they're like funneling in one at a time. And to me, it didn't feel like they were playing to their composition's strength on that defensive side. Which is something that even in EG's failures, I feel like generally they're pretty solid at like having that idea of how they want to play the comp.
yeah, and honestly, with how 100 Thieves retakes are with Omen, it's just way too good on this defense.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be quite fascinating to see how this plays out. Can EG manage to dig themselves, or rather, dig themselves out of the hole that they have found themselves in, or will 100 Thieves close it out? Let's go ahead and send it right back over to Rivington and Ben Silly.
Definitely a great opportunity for EG to bring that comeback if they can, because they do have a 9-3 scoreline in favor of 100 Thieves. Yeah. How can you get around all these one-ways that are going to be thrown by Cryo Cells? Yes, definitely an agent that, you know, could really put stick in the wheels of how you're going to try to scale up for EG.
Don't put a stick in the wheels. That doesn't feel good. I think EG's conversions have to be better. They find 7 first bloods in the last half to 100 Thieves 5. Still 100 Thieves finding the W's. And a push-up already.
Avoiding the high tide, avoiding the cascade, and it's EG now storming in. Shock darts to retaliate from the site. And a 3v3 early into this round. From when we're leading towards how EG was playing towards that first half, is trying to initiate Demon a lot with Ethan. And those are the 2 first players that fall. So the plan is still there on the attack to really allow the ranked Demon to move in.
How far do you go, Calm? The hard lurk. I mean, they have so much time. 1 minute seems like the world if you have it left in a round. So they do put a little bit of the utility towards A. This is when Calm would be hearing the rotation. But it's silence from Bang until he sees it. They play connection. Oh, my word.
Okay, that was nice, though. A tap on the Ghost. Low HP, trying to clear out towards green just in case. Would initiate a safe plant. But Stellar's waiting on the top.
1 enemy remaining.
Now it's up to that 1 versus 1. Jogimo, a change of role from a duelist into this controller play. Bang being stellar onto the controller play as well.
Both are low.
Tap onto the spike, bang on the boxes, and 100 Thieves put another pistol in.
Against a Ghost, too. That's the tough one. You definitely don't want to give him a straight angle on the swing peak, so it's the hop up onto the box. A good call by Bang, and he continues to have an amazing game. This initial fight between both teams handled well. Really well on both sides. We saw 2 players head off for the flank, and then it just mattered to what came down in sight. Classic bang. Taking that win for the squad, and they start off strong. That spells trouble for EG. They're going to go ahead and try to get a buy-in here eventually.
Keep up the crate work. Bang. That little smirk off that 1v1. Continuing the amount of kills that he's getting on this map.
Water rising.
EG's trying to move quick.
Off a plant. Stinger by. A force. One of the rare sights that we see this year for the VCTs. And 100 Thieves ready to play the retake.
Spammed right through, coming in from Asuna right off the bat there. Plant's going to actually be a forward one, so they're ready to defend this, much like a Sage plant, but I don't think there's a wall. Nope.
And that's it. Putting that orb up on the top of the A tower, trying to sell a fake that the plant's above. But bang!
Holy!
And Cryo are already ready to
Player
fight
standing.
back.
Standing ahead.
Long range on that pulse plant, still in favor of EG. Derek hit by the alarm bot, now vulnerable. But it's just too much for him to handle. EG calm, getting the last kill. And they answer back.
They answer back hard. That was a huge round for Evil Geniuses. To be able to snuff out 100 Thieves just a few away from the win. And that's the biggest one, too. That's the mental thrifty. Not even really thrifty because they bought in, but that's the mental win on the second round of the second half here. Really nicely played. It seemed a bit more fearless than they've been bringing to the table. And that kind of bolstered them a little bit for that site take. Pushing through, scaling together, and they really didn't worry about the flank until the post plant happened. Now they're playing even faster. No, I'm just kidding. They're in spawn. Hanging out for this round to see if 100 Thieves come out with anything wild. And they have sent 4 towards the pipes. There's a shot.
And playing far back. Because EG knows 100 Thieves are on an eco. 4 players pushing forward, but Boosie only spotted 2. All of EG for the rest of that still holding towards mid, watching the B pushes, pinging to make sure that we're clearing all of the angles. And 100 Thieves are actually gambling to rotate all their players towards the B site, leaving only Derek alone at A.
Still in spawn. Just hanging out. What do they want from 100 Thieves? I feel like 100 Thieves did this to EG on one of the rounds, right? When 100 Thieves were ready for EG to come in with Sheriffs, they sat mid, they waited for EG to pick, they pulled them out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
it's not happening this time, though.
Ethan threw a flash towards the A site, and with that call in the audible that it blinded some players, they're guessing that the stack's towards A this time. So everybody leading towards B, wall to come up.
30 seconds left.
And Stellar's here. He's done it before. Sheriff in hand.
Double wall.
Now to run inside this cove if we're trying to go for a plant, decides to fall back instead. Pushed away by a snake bite. Plant will go down as players are also falling from 100 Thieves.
Oh my gosh. So you don't get to stare at anything. They completely make the site theirs. Boostio comes up with another Marshall shot. Operator or Marshall, you got to watch out when he's looking down the scope.
You definitely want that. He's only 1 away from a lockdown.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an important ultimate to be used, which he's going to get now into the next. As EG still needs to bring this comeback on Icebox.
Last player standing.
1, and now it's just Cryo looking to get closer. Only gets close to Calm on that one. 5 away from the tie. 100 Thieves about to get that arsenal back and ready. That lockdown you called is going to be absolutely huge here for EG. I almost think they play it on a fake if they could. And start making 100 Thieves realize that there's more than just these single hits they're seeing from Evil Geniuses. We really haven't gotten a fake yet. They're not using too much misdirection. So I think it's easier in that sense for 100 Thieves to predict what they're going to be seeing in the play. Just watch for the flank. Towards A. Towards B. Cascade's gonna go forward and block the left side, so we can work right with Demon.
Trailblazer behind to clear out everything, and there's that lockdown that's gonna come in. Meanwhile, Calm was the one that's watching that flank on the A site, and he's now gonna become the lurk. As players from 100 Thieves forced to fall back towards Snowman. We're gonna get a cold plant at the default spot. Asna going with the sprays. Manages to land one onto Demon. As Jogimo's just stuck here.
So tough.
Just behind the Nanostorm, now slowed down by Slow Orbs too. And fighting back, Ethan and Jogimo with the Bulldogs. The flank out from Calm not working out. Ethan picking up a Vandal. Wall plant up, trying to break the wall. The lineup on 2. but only gets one. 100 Thieves, they're now up at 11, and that lockdown that was supposed to give a lot of space here for EG.
Yeah.
Suffocates in the end.
I think the plant went down maybe a little too slow in that instance. Great play, great sight take, but getting back out of position was so tough, right? Jogamo did get a kill, was forced to go forward, but they weren't setting up the post plant they wanted. Jogamo was instantly slowed. Util was coming in to find out yellow and prevent the rest of Evil Geniuses from protecting the escape or setting up the post plant. So 100 Thieves really just making it a mess for EG. Once they do get in, they have a plan to just absolutely sort out where EG is and take them out one by one. Evil Genius is calling the timeout here as we are getting closer and closer for 100 Thieves to capitalize on this second W.
Yeah. And from that play, didn't really indicate to me that they were trying to do the post plant lineup plays. Because Tom was watching that lurk, or watching that flank, but he's not moving towards the B main for the snake bite poison orb. So this just indicates to me like the small changes that Evil Geniuses are trying to do into this week is just try to fight back. When they have that opportunity to have players such as Demon 1 and Jogamo on a different role to just really try to answer back, fight for fight. But it's always 100 Thieves on the board in all of these duels.
It is. I mean, even the fracture pictures is great at the segment or plays where as GB was being served dinner. Like the post plants was, even if Wingman got it down, the post plants weren't working. It wasn't happening. I got there, believe me, just my brain wasn't working. I was thinking about the food more than the plays. God, it looks so good, that grilled.
Well, that's the thing.
Fromage. 100
Thieves are hungry for that win, and it's really one-sided so far on this map of Icebox.
Keep up.
All right, 11-5. No real push. A slight pipes play coming from 100 Thieves on that defensive side, but it's going to be the focus on EG. Playing a 3-1-1 here. Beautiful stop by Boostio. That's going to start to sort out the map a little bit, and things like that is what EG just needed to start doing. Does it work?
Reckoning into the site, but that Hunter's Fury actually pinged 2 players. Nanoswarm to delay even more, and that's even going to nullify the Reckoning from coming out. 100 Thieves are already looking for a fight, and Calm has to look for a big play. Once again, on an attempt of a lurk. 1v1 versus Cryo Cells, and he loses it. 3 more to stand up for EG on his post plan as Ethan gets smothered by a paranoia. Utility's just too good for 100 Thieves.
See, getting caught scaling into the site again. 100 Thieves pops out of the word work. They find Ethan trying to rotate forward. A few underneath. Jogamo couldn't get that trade. It looks so tough how 100 Thieves is collapsing on these plays so damn quick. We're on to match point now. We get this buy-in here for both sides. It looks like it's going to be pretty decent. We do see a stinger in for EG, but man, 100 Thieves are playing with so much confidence right now and being able to answer what EG is doing. It is hard, I see, for them to come up with a different play, a different strat. It seems like the book has been used so far.
Activate Demon 1, Blade Storm, last chance for EG. Map and series point for 100 Thieves. Lots of ults for the retake. Available for 100 Thieves. Most important one being that lockdown. Also an opportunity to play aggressive if you want to, because you have that res available, and all 4 players of 100 Thieves are playing towards the A site, leaving a solo anchor from Stellar on B. Blade Storm not activated, unfortunately. First blood for 100 Thieves.
It's a bit of the same of last round for EG here. We had the 3 at B, 1 and 1 in mid. This time it was a 3 at A with 1 B. And we just saw Demon go down mid, but that's a round they say, hey, Demon, let's see, get up there, make it happen. But here in the Blade Storm, 100 Thieves is going to be so ready to see that coming out on one of the high extremities of the map. 2 up top here for 100 Thieves. That's really cheeky too, because Derek drops and you're not expecting Asuna. It's just the mind games they're playing right now.
And EG are walking right into that trap. Nice entry though by Ethan. Big flash, even dropping both players.
15 on each too.
It's a great job done here by the initiator. Calm just looking for the plant. He's gonna get it at least. Big sacrifice right now, but we talked about the retake of capabilities off the lockdown, off the res.
Oh my gosh.
That's gonna be Cryo back out as well. And all they want to do here is just push that space back. There's no opportunity to break that lockdown. And it's looking grim. Nanoswarm available for Bucio for a pulse blind if he wants to, and they both fall. 100 Thieves comes in for the defuse. A convincing second map win for the Thieves.
Yeah.
As they win this series 2-0 and put their first win in the VCT Americas.
That W in the books. Huge play all around. Stellar, Bang, the rest of the crew feeling great. We saw Derek as well on that first map. Cryo being Cryo. To take down evil geniuses as well. Looking at the swap in, EG still playing a little bit middle ground there. They cannot find their groove, it seems like. Honestly, the BCJ swap, the Demon swap, we may have still gotten the same result in this. It just doesn't look like it's there for EG from that mid to late round or post plant. Something's not there in the formula right now. And while there were a lot of rounds, we saw Bang getting a 4K and this crazy thing happening for 100 Thieves to win it. Even if those didn't happen, I still feel like they solidify a W here today. They played so strong, and to get a first win like that has to feel good.
I definitely echo the sentiment that you bring out here for EG. Trying different things, finally bringing somebody new out of the heavy roster that you have for EG. Trying to come up with something else. Fresh blood coming in. Are they going to have a honeymoon phase, but they're still plagued with the same issue? Their attack half, their attack sides.
Yeah.
No solutions coming out of that one yet. We're hoping to see that. They still have some time to work with. Still a couple of weeks left to at least try to make it into the playoffs. But as the fist bumps come through, this is a team that comes in victorious. A team that has a lot of fans here in the crowd today in the Riot Arena. 100 Thieves now walking away with a 1-1 record. Still for this team, they did cook up some things. A Gecko coming on Haven, it was actually pretty decent.
The Gecko coming onto Haven, we saw that coming in instead of the KO. Still absolutely working out quite well for them. You can see where they were ironing some things out, but it really came into the... Look at this team. They're all just sitting tall. It came to those retakes. We heard the Death say it. They just continued to have punishing retakes, and we saw it again here. For EG on the second half, the retakes is where they were punished, Fan City.
Big smiles across the board there, across the faces of 100 Thieves, as that victory definitely does feel good, and I feel that victory was off a lot of great plays for me.
True.
Looking at Bang on that second map, I think another one is probably going to have to be Stellar, but let's see what we have at the bottom here. I mean, they're both there. Bang, Stellar, Cryo Cells. Scan the hashtag for your vote, but who do you have here, Riv?
I like Bang in the last ones, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Stellar. The amount of first bloods on the first map, 5-0 and first blood to first death. Also calling the shots while making the shots. It's good in my heart. I like that, Stellar.
Well, with that, we'll give you the time to vote that, and we'll go for a break. And when we come back, we have the Verizon, post-match interview, and also the test to break it down.
welcome back to the Verizon post-match interview. I'm standing by with Stellar, who just came off of an outrageously dominant win. I think there were a lot of people who have very high expectations from 100 Thieves, but for you guys to dominate the way you did on stage today was really impressive. But before we get to today, I want to ask you about last week. We hadn't really had a chance to talk about it. What happened in the series against Sentinels?
I believe that we had control of a lot of the series against Sen, and I think as soon as the game was nearing the end, we started playing really static and flat, and that's kind of one of the big takeaways that we had coming into this week. And then our just comms were a little hectic here and there, but we got that out of the way, and then it showed today.
And I think the series was close, right? It was the 2 13-11s and 1 12-14 or something to that degree, but with that in mind, given how close it was, I know it's a single round robin season, but say you dance with Sentinels again today. Where does how does it turn out?
They'd get mowed down for sure.
Those Twitter impressions you were talking about, you just farmed them. You just farmed them right back. All right, let's talk about today. You alluded to it a little bit. Preparation, given last week, what did that look like heading into the series against EG?
I mean, we were pretty much doing the same thing. I think we had really good practice heading into the Sen match, so we didn't really want to change up much. I think we just did our VOD review on the match, focused on those few key points and takeaways, and then just went from there.
I want to get your thoughts too on the last sub. I think it's something that's going to be discussed for a long time. Demon 1 in, BCJ out. Were you expecting that move as you were preparing for the series, given how EG has such a deep roster? Were you expecting a sub?
No, not really. I mean, personally, I think BCJ was the more impactful player on Haven, so it was pretty shocking to see him get subbed off. But, EG has the players, and they made their decision, and it is what it is.
Sure. And then the last question that I have for you, and this is more of a nebulous one, but given all of the expectations for this squad, I mean, you keep the same 4, you just bring in Cryo, and you guys have had mixed success up until this point. I think a lot of people were surprised to see you drop the first series. What do you say to the expectations that are out there that 100 Thieves should be competing for a spot for Tokyo? They should be competing for the #1 spot in the league. What do you say to that?
I think they'll be pretty happy. I think we'll keep winning going forward, and we're just looking to have a good season.
Well, it's been a great start. Congratulations on getting the first one on the board in the way that you did. The crowd loves it. I'm sure everyone behind the scenes does too. We're going to throw it back to Golden Boy at the desk to close out the show.
Thank you so much, Doug. And the crowd loves Stellar. Look at that. They love to see it. But hey, I think, 100 Thieves, lots of things to be excited about with this team, man. They have had just, I think this is exactly what you want to see. They had to come into this matchup, Wyatt, and they needed to look good, and that is exactly what they did.
Yeah, honestly, I think you can walk away from this content with what we saw from 100 Thieves. I really felt like today there was kind of 2 scenarios we would end up in. 100 Thieves either win comfortably or they win and it's really close and you kind of walk away from it feeling like, am I really okay with this? And we got the first, which is we walk away with 100 Thieves that I think showed a lot of good things. Solid fundamental play on Icebox. And some cool new stuff with the Gecko, also clearly working on some new things too on Haven, which I'm sure caught EG off guard since that was their pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the side of EG, they came in with this Harbor Viper composition that we've seen a lot. And for 100 Thieves, it felt like they had a good read on how to play against it once we got into this second half. Against this composition, you're really often going to see these deep pushes into Snowman. And you see in this one, they're ready for it. There's a player on anti-flash in the corner, 2 ready to swing to trade. Demon is instantly annihilated. And then they start to crunch down the space, have mollies to keep anyone from re-swinging to fight onto Cryo's position, and a paranoia as well for that, and then just really good trading to close out this round. I think 100 Thieves, despite this game seeming like it could have kind of delved into that scrappiness like you were talking about, that we've seen from some of the past 100 Thieves games, particularly when they were playing at Lock-In, they avoided that, and they took the high ground. They stayed focused on their game plan, and they managed to close that one out in very good form.
You said take the high ground, and Wyatt just looked right at
What's the problem with that?
I mean, that's one
of their sponsors.
What?
It's with a high ground.
I mean, that was a double entendre. We're not going to, no free promo. GB, take it away.
No free promo.
All
right, but here's the thing, though.
I'm very confused.
When you, individually speaking, you had a lot of players who also popped off, right? And I think that another guy, it's just weird because, obviously, because Mimi's here, we always talk about duelists.
It's not
but it's
me.
great.
Wyatt asked to...
I didn't want to talk about the duelists. You demanded it again.
She demanded it, and it's your fault. That's why it's it's great that we're going to talk about Bang.
I wanted to talk about
Overruled.
Tell me, this guy, though, it felt like every time he was on screen, you always knew you were going to get some output from him. 1 frag, 2 frags. The guy was good for it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Bang was so good in this series. Again, kind of similar to Som. He's just another one of those guys that always goes crazy on Icebox. Bang is so good on the defense side here. His anchoring, the way he'll shut down B main on some rounds. I mean, and also you could just see at some point in this game, he just had the confidence and adrenaline on max. Like when he's hopping around with the shorty, those moments, it's just, all right, he is in the flow state, and he was just so damn good.
Yeah, I mean, Bang was incredible. He's an inspiration to me. I've equipped Recon Phantom. I have equipped the basic Prime Classic and the Karambit, and I only play Viper on Icebox. 60% win rate this act. I've become Bang.
Excellent. Well, I mean, when you look at the stats there, coming out of the half on their attack, I mean, yeah, they were pounding, but he dropped 19 frags there, and ooh, I like the little.
Yeah,
it's fancy.
19 frags for a man. That guy was disgusting, and that is the reason why. Because before the break, we asked y'all to vote for your player of the match, and guess what? The results are in, and I think we know where this is going because it's Bang who won the poll resoundingly. Oh my gosh, 82.8 maybe. That's
I mean, it's not surprising, I think, because of how good he was in that second map. But I think there was a conversation. Maybe Cryo could have, because his jet game was fantastic. But on the Owen, he was just kind of like chilling. He's like, all right, I'm going to throw my paranoia. I'm going to throw my smoke. He didn't do well individually at all, but it was a game that they were just stomping. So it doesn't matter. Don't be like, oh, we can't play the Owen. They need to change this composition. Because I think the comp is still really good.
Yeah, they do a great job with it. I mean, yeah, Bang deserves it. This has been kind of a long time coming for him, I think. He's just always been on this slow ascension throughout the scene, and this is 100 Thieves has been his first big opportunity, and really, I think in the latter half of 2022 into this year, he's just been running with it. He's been so good for them.
Yeah, and now this kind of puts EG in a very, very tough position, right? Because this is the game where we're kind of considering, where does EG slot in here in Americas? Can they be one of those mid-table teams that's competing to get into playoffs? Or are they fighting for those bottom few spots?
I have them top 4.
This loss loses me even more faith in this
top 5. Adam, top 5. Adam, top 5. Don't judge me.
Try and save yourself. I meant top.
Top 6.
I thought there were only 5 teams in the league.
No. The thing is, and let's go ahead and take a look at the standings and where we are right now for week 2 of VCT Americas, because I mentioned before, is EG going to be able to dig themselves out of the hole? No. Unfortunately, they added more dirt. So now they're at 0-2 alongside Crew, sitting at 9th place. And with that win, 100 Thieves find themselves in some pretty good company alongside NRG, Cloud9, Sentinels, as well as MIBR. But to go back to the point with EG there, Mimi, you are so right. There are not a lot of weeks left in this one. And I know I said, maybe you take your time, maybe you see how the project works out. But I will agree with you that in NA, especially for the North American teams that are here in Americas, this is a rough position to be in for them.
Yeah, a lot of the same problems are still rearing their heads. Issues of coordination when games get close, attacking sides that are continue to struggle. There's a lot of progress that this team needs to make, but there's still more weeks. Maybe something can happen. They have a game versus Crew, the 2 teams at 0-2. That's going to be an interesting game in that
will
one,
be a team will get a win.
That is true.
That's
really exciting.
huge. That's huge. But those are the matches for next week. Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves. NRG versus MIBR, which actually could be a pretty solid game. I'm excited for that one. Leviathan going up against Sentinels. EG versus Crew. And then to round things off, oh, I'm so sad I'm not here. Loud versus Furia. Oh, that's going to be a fun game.
That is like the one-game Monday game.
Actually.
Like, that's so sick to think about.
Yeah, you guys are going to be here for a while that day.
Yeah, well, that really could go the distance. And with how things have been looking, Furia possibly taking the top spot in Americas, it is not out of the question.
I am so excited for that game. But that's going to do it for us here. Wyatt, for your first weekend working as an analyst here at VCT, A, you did a stupendous job.
Hey,
B,
thanks.
you had fun.
You made it easy. You made it easy. It was very fun.
High
five.
Thanks, guys.
Oh my God,
Well, I said high five. You went low. We'll work on the coordination later. But, folks, that is going to do it for us here at VCT Americas. We had 3 days of amazing matches. But don't worry, folks. The VALORANT goodness continues onward from here. Whether it's here in Americas, EMEA, or Pacific, there's so much to watch. So make sure you're out there having a good time and enjoying yourself some high-quality VALORANT. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you next week right here at the Riot Games Arena. We'll see you then. Peace. What better way to spend your Monday than watching some Valorant with some awesome teams? Evil Geniuses takes on 100 Thieves. Both teams looking for that win. You know that they are feeling the pressure on that stage right now.
Vandal picked up, Asna fighting back towards Sewers, and he gets the 3K. The one that picks it up towards C, and it works out for the first blood.
Can't forget about that blue steel operator.
Paranoia through, but there's so many players of EG. 3 players pushing down. BCJ trying to do something here, but the weapon is just too much, too good. And in the blink of an eye, it's a 3 versus 1 with Cryo waiting there with that operator. 100 Thieves readapted, and they take the first map. Trying to move into the site, it's a 4 versus 2.
Bang.
Demon looking to answer back onto a third into this round. As now Bang, oh, looking for the transfer, and he's gonna get it!
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
The trade possibilities. Ropes favoring on to 100 Thieves as Bang somehow is playing this controller like a duelist. Wall plan up, trying to break the wall. The lineup on 2. A convincing second map win for the Thieves as they win this series 2-0 and put their first win in the VCT Americas.